Successful meetings and ultimately successful collaborations are about people, first and foremost. When you can't have everybody in the same room with you, it's important to be able to see them, to be able to interact with them, along with the information that you're working on. The only way that we could make it happen every day is to use GoToMeeting.
I'm Michael Parrish-Dudell, entrepreneur, speaker, and best-selling author of Shark Tank Jumpstart Your Business. This is a show about discovery, about showcasing the next generation of business and media influencers. It's new, it's now, it's the next crop. Hi everyone, welcome to The Next Crop. I'm Michael Parrish-Dudell. My guest today is Nomiki Konst, an entrepreneur, speaker, and the former 2012 congressional candidate for the 2nd District in Arizona. And we're talking about how to have more of an impact. Let's say you have an organization, you want to run for office, whatever your particular sector might be. We're going to talk about some tips and tools that you need to know to be more impactful in your life and in your business. All right, we're talking about impact. You know, maybe you're somebody who has a company, or you want to run for office, or maybe you just want to change your community. Forget about the inspiration, forget about the empowerment. What are some things, some tangible things that people can do to have more of an impact in their community or their business?
I think there are 3 key things that will make or break your business or whatever form of impact you want it. First is having a very strong plan. You know, a plan that can be adjustable, you know, an evolving strategy is like we like to say in the nonprofit world. But something, you know, as soon as you have that idea and that you're putting your wheels in motion, you can sit down and say, this is my strategy for the next 3 months, 6 months.
Well, that's a good question.
Months.
How long should people be planning? Should they think about their plan for a quarter? Should they go, you know, we're going to do a quarter in a year? Should they go 5 years? What does that structure and framework look like?
I think it depends on the project. You know, businesses are a little bit different. If you're going after big funding, you know, rounds of funding, that's a really big part of that process. Sure. But in the nonprofit space, I mean, in the beginning, I would say stick to 3 or 4 months. That way you get a feel of what your community is like, what your goals are going to be. I mean, when we launched the Accountability Project, when we were thinking about launching the Accountability Project, we had a totally different strategy. Totally different. We wanted to be more political. And then as we started to form, as we sat down with the legal team, as we sat down with our supporters, we got the feedback that there was more of a need in the journalistic space. And so we framed it more about the investigations than rather the political stuff. And now our strategy is about 6 months, and you know, it explores all areas of fundraising to community events, what type of support we're trying to build. We have a membership person. You know, we really structure the organization so that we're the most efficient organization that can possibly. So
what I hear what you're saying is plan's important, but by planning sort of in short-term bursts, you're able to adjust that plan, take the left turn if that's what you need to do. Right. That's important. All right, so number 1, planning. Number 2.
Number 2, community support. If you want to make an impact, you need to be out there. Whether it's social media, Facebook, that stuff's all great, but it's really grassroots stuff. I mean, we're not a membership-based organization, but we understand that the community is what's going to keep us alive. The community is what talks about us. They're the ones who are telling friends of friends of friends, there's this new organization in town called the Accountability Project.
Yeah.
And in this day and age, when the barriers of entry are so minimal, that infrastructure can only exist if you have a strong base.
So when people think about community today, I think most people automatically, because of the world we live in, think digital community, online community. Let's talk about the difference, offline versus online. What's important? Where should I be spending my time? Is it both, or should one get more of my time than another?
I think it's both. I think that social media still is a tool.
Yeah.
You cannot have, you know, it's called armchair activism. I know it's a controversial term, but I really do believe after launching campaigns, working on other people's campaigns, running organizations, that activist community online doesn't always translate into real life, but there are tools online that can help the real life community come alive.
Yeah.
One of our strategies is we partner with organizations that are looking for great content that they can spread to their supporters, and they already have a supporting system of members that can activate that community through that content. The other thing is we're going around to different community boards. This is a political side, but we're introducing the Accountability Project to New York City community boards, and saying, we'd love to have your support. What that means is, okay, they find us on Facebook, they find us on Twitter, they tweet about us, they email their friends about us, they call their friends. And especially with an older community, which is often the case in New York and the political world, They respond to that well.
Yeah, all right, so online, community, offline, both important. We have planning, we have community. What's the third?
Knowing your strengths.
Strengths. What about knowing your weaknesses? Is that a piece of it, or is it just strengths?
Weaknesses, it's very important.
Yeah.
But in terms of how to move yourself forward, I think when you're starting an organization, sometimes, at least in my case, I do focus a lot on the weaknesses and how we can fill those weaknesses and how we can move forward. But I forget that, like, hey, I'm a founder.
Yeah.
I have my own little following. You know, I can use that to my advantage for the organization can use me as a tool to get the word out. You know, every organization's different. Maybe your social media director has a really big following, or maybe, I don't know, you live in a city where the organization resonates really well and utilizing the city's resources, or maybe you have a friend who's famous. You know, you just need to know what your strengths are and then work on them and really selflessly promote those strengths.
Yeah, all right, so community, we have knowing your strengths, and we have planning. Those are the three things to have a bigger impact. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
My guest again has been Nomiki Konst. She is the co-founder of the organization called the Accountability Project. You can find out more about Nomiki at nomikikonst.com or on Twitter at Nomiki Konst. Of course, all of that information is available on our site, thenextcrop.com. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.